This is KM Wyland, and you are listening to the 625th episode of the Helping Writers Become Authors podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, Tips on Hiring and Working with a Book Cover Designer, and new cover reveal for Dreamlander. As writers, we know an eye-catching book cover is vital for captivating potential readers. Recently, I got to work with the talented team at eBook Launch to update the cover of my portal fantasy Dreamlander. And today I'm excited to share my experience and insights to help you find and collaborate with the right book cover designer. First, a little background on this project. As many of you know, Dreamlander was published in December 2012 and has easily been the most popular of all my novels. So it seemed appropriate that for its 10-year anniversary, the book should get a little refresh. And I'm incredibly happy with the results. I hope you'll love it too. To celebrate, I'm doing a paperback giveaway over on Instagram, so be sure to check that out as well. And obviously, I can't show you the cover here on the podcast, but if you'd like to see it, be sure to stop by the site at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. So today, using my recent collaboration with eBook Launch on Dreamlander as a case study, I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process of hiring and working with a book cover designer. We'll explore the process of finding the right designer, budgeting and pricing, preparing for the design process, and achieving an effective collaboration. All right, so finding the perfect book cover designer may seem daunting, and this is why thorough research is essential to ensuring a successful match. So first of all, you're going to want to consider these key factors for finding the right book cover designer. Factor number 1, review the designer's portfolio. Reviewing a designer's portfolio will give you insight into their range and versatility, as well as their style preferences. When I was searching for a designer for Dreamlander, eBook Launch's book cover portfolio immediately stood out, showcasing a variety of styles and genres that aligned with my vision. You'll want to find a designer whose style preferences match your own, ensuring a smoother collaboration and a cover design that reflects your story. Make sure the designer you choose offers examples of work in your genre and preferred style in their portfolio, and ask yourself whether their style complements your book's genre and tone. If the answer is yes, you're on the right track. Factor number 2, examine testimonials and reviews. So you'll want to check the designer's testimonials and reviews from other authors. These provide valuable insights into the designer's work ethic, communication style, and ability to deliver on time and within budget. Look for credible sources of reviews and affiliations with industry associations such as the Alliance of Independent Authors. Factor number 3, evaluate availability and responsiveness. It's vital to collaborate with a designer who is available to accommodate your book's timeline and will promptly respond to your inquiries, revision requests, and other concerns. Before beginning the design process, confirm that your chosen designer can deliver both the cover design and any additional marketing materials in time for your book's launch. When working on the cover for Dreamlander, the team at eBook Launch communicated with me solely via email, which is my preference, but which may not work for everyone. However, they offered timely updates and always addressed my questions and concerns, which made the entire process smooth and enjoyable. And factor number 4, consider pricing. When searching for the right book cover designer, one of the top factors is finding one that fits your allocated budget while still providing value. Amounts can vary significantly, so carefully compare costs and the value each designer offers, keeping in mind that pricing doesn't always correlate with quality. Reedsy had a recent article that quoted under $750 United States dollar on average as the cost from the designers on their website. You look for clear pricing on the designer's website to avoid misunderstandings down the line. And don't forget to budget for additional marketing materials, such as social media graphics or promotional banners, or paperback or audiobook versions, which are usually not included in the startup ebook cover design process. All right, so once you've found the right designer, you will typically need to navigate a couple of stages of the book cover design process. And these include submitting a detailed design brief, receiving and reviewing initial concepts, collaborating on revisions, and approving the final design. In this section, we're going to delve into each stage in more detail using my personal experience working on the redesigned cover for Dreamlander. I've also provided a couple of tips for a successful collaboration at the end. So tip number 1, submit a detailed design brief. The first step in the book cover design process is providing a clear and detailed design brief, which will ensure your designer understands your vision and can create a cover that captures the essence of your book. Most of the book designers I've worked with ask you to fill out detailed forms which guide you to share the information they'll need from you. So here is some of what I submitted to ebook launch for them to work with. Book title, Dreamlander. Book subtitle, optional. What if one day you woke up in the wrong world? Author name, K.M. Weiland. Genre, portal fantasy. Description of your book. What if it were possible to live 2 very different lives in 2 separate worlds? What if the dreams we awaken from are the fading memories of that second life? What if one day we woke up in the wrong world? Every night, a woman on a black warhorse gallops through the mist in Chris Redston's dreams. Every night, she begs him not to come to her. Every night, she aims her rifle at his head and fires. The last thing Chris expects or wants is for this nightmare to be real. But when he wakes up in the world of his dreams, he has to choose between the likelihood that he's gone insane or the possibility that he's just been let in on the secret of the ages. Only one person in a generation may cross the worlds. These chosen few are the gifted, called from Earth into Lael to shape the epochs of history, and Chris is one of them. But before he figures that out, he accidentally endangers both worlds by resurrecting a vengeful prince intent on claiming the powers of the gifted for himself. Together with a suspicious princess and a guilt-ridden Cherizai warrior, Chris must hurl himself into a battle to save a country from war, 2 worlds from annihilation, and himself from a dream come way too true. Describe the key elements you want on your cover. And I said, this is to be a redo for the cover of an already published book. You can see the original cover here, and I included a link. I'm wanting to update the cover into a more current style. Particularly, I'm interested in styles that evoke mood more than character. Rather than featuring a person on the cover, I would rather something more stylistic and artistic. The book is a portal fantasy in which the main character is someone from our world who enters a parallel medieval land that is the world of dreams. It's epic fantasy with lots of battles and swordplay, but also romance. The cover examples below show more of the style I'm wanting this time around. I really do like the teal-green color palette the existing cover has. I wouldn't mind keeping it, but don't want to limit creative options either. Please provide links or examples of other covers you like. Now, obviously, I can't show you these covers. If you're interested, I do link to all of them on the corresponding post for this podcast. But I'll just mention a few of my little comments that I included along with cover examples that I liked. Love the colors and overall aesthetic here. The font work on this one is gorgeous, and I love the symbolism of the central image and how it interplays with the actual letters of the title. This one is probably a bit too simple for me, but does show the basics of what I'm hoping for, which is emphasis on title and color with a strong background visual, etc. Tip number 2, review initial concepts and collaborate on revisions. So after you've submitted your design brief, the book cover designer will present you with initial concepts. In this instance, ebook launch reached out before designing the concepts to clarify the direction they wanted to try. He said, I love the idea of featuring a galloping black horse and a framing mechanism of dreamy, wavy circles like a ripple effect on water. The circles/ripples represent the time portal. The black horse would be visually striking, invokes action, and works in both contemporary and medieval settings. Other imagery could come into play, a sword, a castle, but they would be more like background etchings. What are your thoughts on featuring a black horse? I agreed, and in combination with the original information that I submitted, they started the designs. And you can see the original concepts that were presented to me for Dreamlander on my site. I decided that the second of the two concepts was more in line with my vision. However, some of the elements didn't quite come together as I had hoped. For instance, I thought the horse graphic appeared too simplistic or even cartoony when viewed at a larger size, and somewhat fairy tale-like in a thumbnail size, neither of which was quite what I wanted for the book. I also felt that the water motif / portal that we started out with seemed too separate from the background. So to address these concerns, I suggested exploring alternative central elements instead of the horse, such as a castle, and adding more intricacy to the design. I also requested changes to the title treatment and font for my name to maintain visual consistency across my books. So remember, it's crucial to provide clear and constructive feedback to your designer at this stage so they can fine-tune the design and ensure it meets your expectations. And then after some more discussion, I received several revised options, which you can also see on my site if you're interested. And tip number 3, approve the final design. So finally, after collaborating on revisions, you will reach the point at which you are satisfied with the cover design. And the final version of Dreamlander's cover turned out gorgeous. I absolutely love it. But at this point, you want to make sure to review the final design thoroughly, ensuring it meets your expectations and represents your book effectively. Once you've approved the final design, your designer will provide you with the necessary files for publishing your book, as well as adapting it to other files you may be needing. In this case, ebook Launch also prepared print and audio versions for Dreamlander. Navigating the book cover design process requires first and foremost a harmonious partnership between you and your designer. So in closing, here are a few final tips for successful collaboration with your book cover designer. Tip number 1, maintain open communication. Create a supportive environment where both parties feel comfortable discussing their ideas and concerns. Tip number 2, provide constructive feedback. Offer specific, actionable suggestions that will help your designer refine their work while also acknowledging their strengths and accomplishments. I always like to say, remember the compliment sandwich. And this is where you start out acknowledging something that you genuinely like about the design, then addressing your concerns, and finally ending on a positive note. And tip number 3, stay flexible and open to the designer's expertise. Remember, they bring valuable experience and knowledge to the table, so be receptive to their insights and recommendations. By fostering a collaborative spirit, you'll work together more effectively to bring your creative vision to life. Finding and collaborating with the right book cover designer is a vital step in your book's success. By researching designers, reviewing portfolios, considering pricing, and maintaining open communication, you can foster a fruitful partnership and create an eye-catching cover that captivates readers. Remember to be patient, diligent, and receptive to the designer's expertise throughout the process. I hope my experience working on Dreamlander provides insights for your own book cover design journey. If you're ready to create a captivating cover for your book, consider reaching out to ebook Launch and exploring their services. Best of luck in your creative endeavors, and may your book cover design journey be a rewarding one. And don't forget to enter the paperback drawing on Instagram if you're interested in reading Dreamlander. And regardless, I hope you will stop by the site and tell me your opinion. Have you ever worked with a book cover designer? Tell me about your experiences. If you'd like to be part of the Word Player community over on my site and join in the conversation on this subject, be sure to stop by the website at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com. You can always find a transcript of the most recent podcast and add your voice to the discussion by visiting the first post on the site's homepage. And don't forget that if you're looking for an older post, you can always find those by putting the podcast title in the search field at the top of the right-hand column. If you enjoyed this podcast, you can subscribe on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and Amazon Music, or whatever your favorite podcast platform may be. And if you'd like to do something to support helping writers become authors, it always means a ton if you're able to leave just a quick rating or review on your site of choice. Also, many thanks to those who support my work on Patreon. Your patronage helps make helping writers become authors and its many resources available to writers everywhere. If you're interested in becoming a patron, you can find out more at patreon.com/kmweiland. Thank you so much for listening to the Helping Writers Become Authors podcast, and be sure to check back again next week.